Hello everyone, it's Andrea Maxim, naturopathic doctor here, and I wanted to show you a quick clip of a really amazing presentation that I just gave, all on why losing weight can be difficult and why we feel so crappy sometimes when we're doing it. The energy just isn't there, and this presentation goes through all of the reasons why we constantly feel fat and fatigued. And if you want to download that, go to tinyurl.com/fat and fatigued, and you can download the entire 1.5 hour presentation. But what I wanted to show you today was the clip on how I described the body composition and how important it is, because it gives us such valuable information on how healthy our cells are. Do we need to detox? What's our muscle mass percentage? What's our fat mass percentage? How healthy is our body overall? So I encourage you to check it out next.
We need to be looking at how our cells in general are working and the environment around our cells. And a lot of my patients have cells that are shriveled up little raisins, and they're not beautiful little grapes. And there's an in-office test that I do. It's called a body composition that allows me to analyze how your cells are literally looking, and we'll go over that in a second. So this is something that can be very easily done. The only people that can't do this is if you have a pacemaker, because we are using an electrical device, and you're literally just lying on my treatment table, and I put little stickers on your wrist and onto your ankle, and I attach my little device, and it'll measure your fat mass percentage, your muscle mass percentage, but it'll also look at how healthy your cells are looking. So it gives us a great deal of information. So this is what a report would look like. So we have our phase angle. Our phase angle is how healthy our body is overall. And it's not that this phase angle is on 0 is the worst, 10 is the best. It's more on a graduated scale of healthy versus unhealthy people. So for women that are 45 and older, we want to see your phase angle at about 6.5. For women that are in their 20s and 30s, we want to see it closer to 7. For men that are in their 45s or whatever, they should be about a 7 or higher. For men that are younger than that, they should be closer to a 7.5 or an 8. That's where we should be. If this gets as low as even 2.5, basically you're dead. So that just kind of gives you an idea. And I've never recorded anybody higher than 8.8. And that was a gentleman patient of mine who's working out constantly, really lean, lots of muscle mass, things like that. So what we're seeing here, and it's very faded on the screen, is with regards to this is a female patient. So we want to have this black arrow. This is where she is reading right now. We want to have it between about low 20s to low 30s, and the reference range is over here. So we can definitely see that there's a bit of work that needs to be done with regards to her fat mass. We want to have that down at least 10%. We're also going to look at fat-free mass. Fat-free mass is everything other than fat. So that's where we can get an idea of how much protein you should be consuming. So protein, in other presentations that I've given, we've talked a lot about how protein, of course, is going to help you grow your muscle mass and grow that nice lean look and get that metabolism working for you. So when we do this measurement, that's how many grams of protein this individual needs to be consuming on a daily basis, which for most people, when they see that number, they think that's excessive and crazy. It actually isn't. That's what will help to fuel this person's body so that they are getting adequate protein in. Most of us, maybe not in this room, are consuming closer to 40, 50, or 60 grams of protein, which may not be enough to achieve the results that we're looking for. And if you know, protein is incredibly important when it comes to controlling blood sugar and feeding your immune system and helping you heal and repair. It's literally the building block to just about everything in your body. So that's an important thing to be looking at. And then we can also look at where your muscle mass is at this moment. So this individual has a muscle mass just under 30%. And I typically like to see patients as close to 40% as possible, regardless of age or gender. So these are the parameters that we get just from sort of that weight and basically your weight loss perspective. Now this is giving us an idea of how healthy your cells are. So this is looking at your fluid distribution. And I'm going to show you a better graphic of this so you can understand a little bit more of what's going on. We have our total body water. The total body water does not reflect your hydration. This is looking at your hydration. So if you drink a lot of water, this will go up. If you're not drinking enough water, this will go down. But this is looking at, are your cells raisins or grapes? because we're looking at how hydrated the cells are, and you can see how low this individual is from where she needs to be. So this is where I see a lot of my patients sitting, where their cells are just shriveled up. They're not as plump or as nourished as we'd like them to be, and that gives me an idea of what we need to start cleaning up. So we need to clean up their diet. We need to make sure they're getting their nutrients in. And then this will describe how healthy the environment is in and outside the cell. So ECF stands for extracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid is the environment that your cells are living in. So that's where the salt and the stress and the toxins are all going to go. So of course we want this number to be as low as possible. And then your intracellular fluid is where all the good stuff is. That's where all the nutrients are, and your mitochondria live inside the cell. So we want this number to be nice and high because we want that to be big and beautiful. Does this make sense? Now this is a better diagram of what we just went over. So I like to use illustrations because I find it hammers things home a little bit better. We talked about the phase angle. The phase angle is how healthy your body is overall. So think of it as the higher it goes, the easier it was for that machine to read you. The lower the phase angle, the worse this whole picture is looking. So the lower that number is going to be. Does that make sense? Because it's really reflecting how healthy that membrane is around your cell. Make sense? So we want that, of course, to be nice and plump and beautiful. The other thing we're going to look at is how healthy are the fluids across the cell. So we have our intracellular fluid here and our extracellular fluid here. What did I say would live in the extracellular fluid? Salt, stress, toxins. And then inside here is where all the good stuff is, like our mitochondria. And we talked in greater detail about how important those are for energy production. So if I were to hand you all a glass of water and I were to dump, a load of salt in them and said drink it, what would you want to do to that glass of water? You'd most likely not want to drink it, but let's say I left a pitcher of water on the table here and said, drink your water. You'd most likely come up here, probably pour out as much of the salty water as you could and fill it up with fresh fluid. So what we're doing is we're actually looking at that same principle here. The more salt, the more toxins that exist in the extracellular fluid, this is where the cells are living, the more the cells are going to give up their own fluid so that they can survive. Does that make sense? So they're literally going to shrivel themselves just so they can stay alive, and they're going to try to dilute their environment. So remember this, the solution to pollution is dilution. So the cells will always dilute the pollution that they're living in, but that means that they're sacrificing their own health in the interim. So that's why we want to make sure that this is super clean. So again, to support that, here comes our essential fatty acids, our fish oil, our multivitamin, mitochondrial support. What was one of the key nutrients we can use to help support the mitochondria that we talked about? Lipoic acid, or B vitamins, or carnitine, or taurine. And then electrolytes here will also help because it's going to help to get this fluid transfer a little bit more balanced. Then what we're looking at here are the toxins. So what did I say lives in the extracellular fluid are all these toxins. And the biggest thing when it comes to fat cells is as they shrink, the toxins go out. We talked about that at the very beginning. What that does is as the toxins go out into the body and they don't get cleared out, they start pressing on our blood vessels. And what's a big condition that will start to happen if our blood vessels get compressed? Hypertension, high blood pressure, exactly. So that's why we say salt will cause blood pressure because it's literally pushing on the walls of our blood vessels. So this is all important for us to be thinking about when it comes to how important it is to clean our bodies up. And again, we can do a detox to help support that. Electrolytes will help to support that. Fish oils and a multivitamin. The other thing is as we expand our fat cells, what's happening here is our toxins are going into them. And remember, that's what I said. Where do the toxins go if they don't get cleared out? They go right back into your fat cells. Does this all make sense? Yes? Good.
Pretty cool stuff, eh? What I encourage you to do now is download the bonus that you see on the screen by going to themaximmovement.com/7-day bonus. And I have a complete 7-day meal plan with recipes, grocery list, and everything, just as my way of thanking you for watching this video. Of course, when you're on my website, if you want to work with me personally and check out my programs, please do so. Again, themaximmovement.com. Thank you so much, guys, for listening, and I will post more videos like this for you soon.